I came home for Christmas. The house was empty, except for Grandma, alone at the kitchen table, picking at cold leftovers. A crumpled note lay beside her plate. Spent your $8,500 loan on a family cruise. Take care of her. Grandma looked up, weary but resolute. We'll fix this, she said softly. I just nodded. For days afterward, they begged for forgiveness, but I never knocked. It was my parents' house, the one I'd practically paid for, and I was supposed to be there for Christmas, like I always was, like I'd promised. But when I pushed open the front door, the warmth and joy I expected were gone. The tree was lit, yes, the cheap plastic star blinking like it was trying to apologize, but the silence was suffocating. No laughter, no rustle of wrapping paper, no scent of cinnamon or burnt cookies. Just the faint clink of a fork against a plate. Hello? I called out, stepping inside. In here, sweetheart, came a tired voice from the kitchen. I turned the corner and saw her, Grandma, sitting alone in her faded purple sweater, a half-eaten plate of ham and stuffing in front of her. Where is everyone? I asked. She didn't answer right away, just gave me that sad, toothless smile and slid a folded note across the table. Her hands trembled. It wasn't even in an envelope, just a torn scrap of notebook paper. My name scrawled in black ink, spent your $8,500 loan on a family cruise. Sorry. Take care of Grandma while we're gone. Love, Mom. I stared. My mind froze at the words loan and cruise. That money was for my dental surgery. Money I'd saved for over a year by working night shifts. Driving Uber, freelancing, skipping meals, skipping sleep. Grandma watched me like someone navigating a minefield. Careful, silent, I guess. I guess they didn't think you'd mind, she murmured, folding a napkin. They left yesterday, I said, sinking into a chair. It felt colder than the room. No warning, no call. Just took the money and left you here. She gave a dry laugh. Oh, honey, you know they only call when they want something. I nodded slowly, fists clenched under the table. This wasn't new, it was just louder. Grandma sipped her orange juice, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "We'll fix this." I didn't speak, but inside something shattered and something colder, sharper began to grow. That night, Grandma went to bed early. Tired, she said. My hips can't take much more waiting. She kissed my cheek, patted my arm, and whispered, "You always were the only one who stayed kind." Then she shuffled off, limping from the fall down the stairs 2 winters ago, the one no one ever took her to rehab for. I sat alone in the dark for hours. No TV, no lights. Just that note, that loan, my money, gone, on a cruise. I opened the family group chat. Silence. Not even a Merry Christmas. The last message from Mom was from November. Don't forget to transfer the loan to Dad's account. We need to book before prices jump. They never called it a gift because they knew it wasn't. I remembered Mom's voice pitching the idea. It's just a short-term loan. We'll pay you back by February at the latest. You can always reschedule your dental thing. I'd nodded. Like I always did. When they needed money for Jacob's school fees, I nodded. When Dad's gambling debts piled up, I nodded. When Kelly lost her job, really just quit because her boss was mean, I nodded. I always nodded. Because if I didn't, I was selfish, ungrateful, unhelpful. Family comes first, they'd say. After everything we've done for you, they kicked me out at 17 for refusing. To lie about Jacob stealing Grandma's painkillers, missed. My college graduation, they were too busy helping Emily move in with her boyfriend. Forgot. My birthday 3 years straight, but when it came to money, suddenly I was family again. By morning, I had answers. They weren't just on a cruise. They were aboard the majestic Aurora, a luxury Caribbean liner for 10 days. Suite deck, private butler, infinity pool, gourmet dining. $3,000 per person? 4 of them. I knew because Emily posted a photo on Instagram, probably forgot she hadn't blocked me, showing all 4 of them in bathrobes, clinking champagne glasses. Caption, "Finally, some peace away from all the leeches and negativity." Leeches. I laughed out loud. They stole my money, abandoned Grandma with leftovers, and called me a leech. That was the moment the last thread inside me snapped. I wasn't sad anymore. I wasn't even angry. I was focused. That evening, Grandma found me in the garage, hunched over Dad's old filing cabinet, surrounded by decades of receipts, bills, bank statements. "I need to know everything," I told her. Where the money went, what they did, who was in on it. She sat beside me, pulled out a faded notebook, and flipped to a page. "Let's start with 2016, she said. "That's when your mother took my pension login. By midnight, we had numbers. By the next day, we had had a plan. They rolled into the driveway like conquering heroes, the same people who'd left us with a note and a fridge full of spoiled leftovers. Their laughter spilled through the house before the door even opened. Emily entered first, dragging a designer suitcase, hair braided with ribbons, nails freshly done. Oh, so glad to be back. That last ship dinner gave me hives. Mom swept in next, sunglasses still on indoors, surveying the kitchen like a soap opera villain. "Did you even clean up a little?" she asked, stepping over Grandma's shawl like it was trash. Dad followed, red-faced and bloated from cruise buffets. "Oh, you're still here?" he grunted. Jacob came last. Didn't even glance at Grandma. Just dumped his bags and collapsed onto the couch. I sat at the table, hands folded, calm. "Where's the food?" Mom asked. "In the fridge," I said. "Still plenty of the ham you left?" Jacob snorted. "Still on that?" "Dude, just order takeout. It's not like you're broke." I stood slowly. "Glad you're all here. Sit down. I've got something to show you." Jacob rolled his eyes but slumped into a chair. Dad cracked his knuckles. Emily hunted for a phone charger. I turned my laptop toward them and clicked play. First, a spreadsheet. Not just any spreadsheet, but a full financial audit I'd built with Grandma over 4 sleepless days. Every dollar drained from her pension. Every ATM withdrawal from gas stations Dad frequented. Every Zelle request Emily sent for emergencies that turned out to be Sephora and Apple purchases. "Where'd you get this?" Mom's voice tightened. "From her bank," I said. "You should be more careful using someone else's password." Second, screenshots of Venmo transactions, login records from Mom's devices, PIN access points matching Dad's IP address. Then emails. Mom writing to Emily. "He won't notice the cruise deposit missing. He trusts us too much." Emily replying. "He's a softie. Plus, who leaves Grandma alone on Christmas anyway?" My jaw clenched, but I kept going. "I could stop here," I said, "but I won't." Third, a voice recording. Kelly, Jacob's wife, standing on our porch 2 nights prior, sobbing. "I didn't want to go." I begged him, but Jacob said if you didn't give the money, they'd just leave her and deal with it later. I stayed quiet because he said it'd all blow over. "I'm sorry. I couldn't take it anymore," Jacob shot up. "You recorded my wife? That's illegal." "No," I said. "She asked me to. She's tired of lying for you. Tired of watching you bleed people dry?" Dad stood, face crimson. "You little snake. I've been digging into your accounts." I cut in, like someone who's done being robbed. I opened one last tab, a pre-drafted email. Subject, formal report of elder financial abuse recipients, Social Security Fraud Division. Grandma's attorney, county ombudsman, 2 local news outlets. You have 48 hours, I said, voice steady, to return every penny, or I send this. "All of it!" Emily's hands shook. "You're bluffing. You'd ruin your own family." "No," I said. "You ruined yourselves. I'm just sending the bill." Grandma, silent until now, rose slowly. She walked to the head of the table, placed a hand on the back of a chair, and spoke with quiet fury. "I raised 3 of you, fed you, changed you, protected you. And when I couldn't walk, you left me with frozen beans and moldy pie while you sipped champagne on stolen money. You're lucky it's him coming after you, because if it were just me..." She didn't finish. She didn't need to. The room fell dead silent. Dad muttered something and stormed out. Emily burst into tears and tried to hug Grandma, who turned away. Jacob glared at me. "You're not family anymore." I smiled. "No, I'm finally free." They didn't believe I'd do it. Even after I showed them the evidence, even after Grandma's silent, searing stare, they still thought they could manipulate me, wear me down. But that version of me, the quiet one who nodded, paid, and thanked them for crumbs, died the moment they spent my $8,500 on pina coladas and cruise buffets. The first 24 hours. Silence. No messages. No apologies. Just Grandma and me, eating microwave oatmeal, checking the bank account. Nothing came. On day 2, I hit send. Every file, every screenshot, every recording. Filed with state authorities, CC'd to every news desk within 100 miles. At 6:13 p.m., I got a reply. "Thank you for your submission. A case has been opened." By day 3, it exploded. Jacob panicked first. 12 missed calls, texts ranging from, "We didn't mean it like that," to, "You're destroying your own family over money." Mom played her classic card. "You're being emotional. Please take the post down. We'll talk." I didn't reply. I forwarded everything to my attorney, Natalie, a woman with the precision of a surgeon. She'd been working with Grandma's legal advisor since the day I recorded Kelly's confession. By noon, official letters of intent to sue went out to all 4 of them. Charges: elder financial abuse, unauthorized access to retirement accounts, misappropriation of family loans. Total owed, with interest and damages, $14,322.85. $1 that night, Mom showed up at the door. No makeup, hair pinned sloppily, eyes hollow. "Can we talk?" she whispered. I crossed my arms. "Only if you brought a checkbook." She pulled a cashier's check for $8,500 from her bag. "No interest?" I asked. "You're lucky to get this," she snapped. "You're turning your back on your own mother." "No," I said, stepping outside and slamming the door. "I'm finally turning my back on a thief." Later that week, Emily called from her work line, sobbing. The article, "Family Steals Disabled Grandmother's Pension, Abandons Her at Christmas, Grandson Fights Back," had gone viral. 42,000 shares overnight. Her employer, a boutique marketing firm, wasn't amused. Her leeches comment had become a meme. "I'm getting fired," she screamed. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "Return the favor," I said. "Now pay your share." She did, in 4 installments. I made her send proof each time. No shortcuts. Jacob was last to fall. At first, he acted untouchable, posting online that it was all fake. But then Kelly left him, filed for separation, told him she wouldn't let their kids grow up in a house where lying and stealing were normal. She called me that same day. "I'm sorry it took me this long," she whispered. "But I've seen who he really is now." I asked if she needed help finding a place. She paused. "Only if it comes with no strings attached." I smiled. "Then yes, because you did the right thing." 2 days later, Jacob showed up at my door, unshaven, furious. "You fool!" he hissed. "You ruined everything." "No," I said, handing him a legal letter. "You did." Natalie had just filed for wage garnishment. He tried to tear it up and throw it back. I didn't flinch. "Pay every penny," I said, "or we freeze your accounts." I'm not bluffing. By the end of week 2, it was done. $8,500 from Mom and Dad, $3,100 from Emily, with interest. $12,700 from Jacob, borrowed from his boss, humiliatingly. Total, $14,300 and change. I used $3,000 for my long overdue dental surgery. $1,000 for my long overdue dental surgery. 200 bought Grandma a proper lift chair and a home nurse. The rest went into a locked, interest-bearing account in her name, accessible only to her and me. When I showed her the paperwork, she cried. "They took everything from me," she whispered. "But they didn't take you." And just like that, I'd won. Not just the money, not just the legal battle. I'd won myself back. The weight I'd carried for years, the guilt, the obligation, the quiet shame of feeling less loved, fell away like a rotten coat. I stood taller than I had in years. They stopped calling, and for the first time, silence had a pulse. Not the panicked hush of guilt, not the heavy quiet of shame, but a clean, surgical silence. The kind that follows when you finally cut out something infected. The money was back. The house was quiet. Grandma slept through the night again, no longer waking in fear that someone would steal what little dignity she had left. And me? I was becoming someone they couldn't control. In the weeks after, I didn't just reclaim money, I reclaimed my life. I quit the soul-crushing job, took a remote contract that paid better and gave me back my time. I took Grandma to her favorite diner, a dusty place with checkerboard floors and terrible coffee. She laughed more in 1 hour than I'd seen in 5 years. "I miss this," she said, dipping fries into her milkshake. "You mean your arteries miss this?" I teased. She shrugged. "I'd rather die laughing with you than choking on cruise shrimp with those snakes." Fair enough, but even peace has its ghosts. They didn't call, but they talked. Oh, they talked. Emily posted on Facebook about forgiveness, lighting a candle at church. Mom told distant relatives I'd manipulated. Grandma, in her old age, conveniently omitting how she'd used Grandma's pension to pay for her own plastic surgery. Jacob went full delusional, posting reels with Succession audio, captioning it, "Some people would rather see you fall than rise with you." I laughed for 10 minutes straight. "Rise with you? You tried to burn me alive and dance in the ashes." They wanted to rewrite the story, but I had the receipts, and I wasn't going back into the shadows. The turning point came 3 weeks later. At the grocery store, an elegant older woman approached us. "Are you the one from the article?" she asked gently. I tensed. "I guess. The one who saved his grandmother?" I blinked. She looked at Grandma, then back at me. "I just wanted to say thank you for standing up, for not staying quiet. My mother, they did the same to her, but no one fought for her. I wish someone had." She touched my arm, soft, brief, then walked away. I turned to Grandma. She stood frozen, hand on a soup can, tears in her eyes. "I didn't think anyone saw us," she whispered. "They do now," I said. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about money or revenge. It was about telling the truth out loud. The best part? I was done explaining myself. I didn't need to scream anymore. The truth had already marched into the world. dragging their names behind it like a torn trash bag spilling across the pavement. Every time they posted, people remembered. Every time they lied, someone in the comments reminded them who they really were. Mom launched a YouTube cooking channel, Cozy Kitchen with Carla. First episode, a comment asked, "Did you pay for that oven with stolen retirement funds?" She deleted the channel in 2 days. Jacob applied for a new job, failed the background check, garnishment orders scared them off. Oops. Emily vanished, then resurfaced as Emma Life Reset, posting yoga poses and quotes about cutting out toxic people. Hilarious, since I didn't cut her out. I exiled her months past. I moved into a quiet, clean apartment filled with secondhand furniture. Nothing they picked, nothing they touched. I brought Grandma with me. 1 bedroom for her, 1 for me. She decorated hers with old photos and a blanket she'd crocheted in 1993. She called it the fort. One evening, she knocked on my door. "I have a question," she said, sitting slowly on my bed. "When you saw that note, why didn't you just leave? Why'd you stay?" I thought for a moment. "Because I remembered who I was before they made me forget." She looked at me a long time, then nodded. "I'm proud of you, sweetheart. That broke me more than any insult they'd ever hurled, because she meant it, and no one else in that family ever had." Weeks later, I ran into Kelly outside a coffee shop. Healthier, lighter, happier. She was taking night classes, building something of her own. "I didn't know I could live like this," she said, without being afraid of what he'd do next. "You gave me that. I didn't know what to say." She stepped closer. "You changed more than just your life, you know." I nodded quietly, and maybe for the first time I believed it. "So here's my ending. You want to know what happened to the family? They destroyed their own name trying to bury mine. You want to know what happened to me? I stopped waiting for them to call me family and started building one with people who never made me beg for love. Now, I sleep peacefully with all the lights off because I'm no longer afraid of what they'll take next. They already took everything, and I took it back."